Every night at exactly 8:15 p.m. the porch light flicked on. Not because someone was coming home, but because 7-year-old Noah believed someone still might. Their small white house sat at the end of Maple Street in a quiet Ohio town where nothing much ever changed. The paint peeled a little more each winter, the mailbox leaned slightly to the left, and every evening, just as the sky turned violet and the cicadas began their song, Noah would drag the wooden chair to the front door, climb onto it, and switch on the porch light. Then he would sit and wait. His mother, Claire, watched from the kitchen window most nights, drying the same plate for far too long. She never stopped him. She never had the heart to. Noah's father had left 9 months ago. Not with a fight, not with slammed doors. Just a quiet suitcase, a long hug, and the words, "I'll be back soon, buddy." But soon never came. At first there were phone calls, then fewer calls, then none. Claire tried to explain in gentle ways, choosing careful words about distance and grown-up problems. But Noah only nodded and said, "It's okay, Mom, he just got lost." So every night Noah left the porch light on, so Dad can find his way home. Neighbors noticed. Mrs. Davenport from across the street once brought over cookies and crouched beside him on the steps. "You waiting for someone special?" "Yes, ma'am," Noah said proudly. "My dad, he promised." The old woman's smile trembled. As weeks turned into months, winter crept in, the air grew sharp and cold. Frost painted the grass silver. Still at 8:15 p.m. the porch light glowed. Sometimes Noah brought a blanket. Sometimes he brought his father's old baseball glove. Always he waited. One particularly bitter December night, the wind cut through Maple Street like a blade. Snow flurried sideways under the street lamp. Claire had just stepped outside to tell Noah it was too cold when she noticed headlights slow near their house. A dark sedan rolled to a stop. A man stepped out. He wasn't dressed for the weather either. Long wool coat, graying hair at the temples. He hesitated before walking up the path. Noah stood up straighter. "Dad," he whispered. The man froze. Up close he looked nothing like the photographs on Noah's bedroom shelf. He was older, broader, a stranger. But he knelt anyway, meeting Noah's hopeful eyes. "I'm sorry," the man said gently. "I'm not your dad." Noah's shoulders dropped, but only slightly. "That's okay," he replied. "Are you lost?" The man blinked. "Maybe," he admitted. Claire stepped forward then, apologizing quickly. "I'm sorry, sir, he's been waiting for his father." The man glanced at the porch light, then at the small boy in oversized gloves. "Every night?" he asked. "Yes," Claire said quietly. There was a long pause. "My name is Daniel," the man said finally. "I drive past here most evenings on my way home from the hospital. I've seen that light on for months." Noah looked up. "You're a doctor?" Daniel nodded. "Cardiologist." Noah thought about that seriously. "Do you fix broken hearts?" A breath caught in Daniel's throat. "I try to," he answered. Snow gathered on their shoulders as they stood there in the silence of Maple Street. Then Daniel did something unexpected. "Would you mind," he asked Claire gently, "if I sat with him for a few minutes?" Claire hesitated. But something in his eyes, something steady and kind, made her step back. So Daniel sat on the porch beside Noah. They didn't talk about fathers. They talked about baseball. About school. About how snow looked blue under streetlights. And when 8:45 came and the cold grew unbearable, Daniel stood. "I have to head home," he said, "but I'll be driving by tomorrow too." Noah looked up. "Will you stop?" Daniel paused. "Yes," he said, "I will." The next night at 8:12 p.m., Noah was already on the porch. The sedan appeared at 8:16. And Daniel kept his word. Days turned into weeks. Daniel didn't replace Noah's father. He didn't try to. But he showed up. Every night. Sometimes with hot chocolate in a thermos. Sometimes with stories from the hospital, carefully edited for young ears. Sometimes just with quiet company. Maple Street began to notice again. This time the whispers were softer. "He's a good man," Mrs. Davenport said. By spring, the porch light wasn't just a beacon for someone lost. It was a symbol. Of hope. Of consistency. Of someone choosing to stay. One evening in April, as pink blossoms drifted across the sidewalk, Noah asked the question he'd been holding inside. "Do you think my dad will ever come back?" Daniel didn't answer quickly. "I don't know," he said honestly, "but I do know this: none of this is because you weren't enough." Noah swallowed. Daniel continued, "Sometimes grown-ups get lost in ways that aren't about directions." The boy considered that. Then he nodded. That night, for the first time in 9 months, Noah turned off the porch light before 9:00. Not because he had given up, but because he understood something new. Waiting didn't have to mean standing still. Years later, at his high school graduation, Noah searched the crowd for two faces. His mother's shining with tears, and Daniel's, older now, smiling proudly. When Noah's name was called, he didn't look toward the empty spaces. He looked toward the man who had stopped his car one winter night and decided to sit beside a lonely boy under a porch light. After the ceremony, Noah handed Daniel a small envelope. Inside was a photo. A picture of a little boy on a porch, snow falling around him, a stranger sitting close. On the back, Noah had written, "You fixed my heart." Daniel cleared his throat. "I didn't," he said softly, "you just needed someone to help you hold it." And as the sun set that evening over Maple Street, the porch light flicked on once more. Not out of longing, but out of gratitude. Because sometimes the stranger who changes your life forever isn't the one who finds you. It's the one who chooses to stay.